Look at the price of gasoline going from $4.50 to $2.50 or $2.70. It's going to be $2 gasoline.
People want affordable.
Well, the economy is my thing, and we have the greatest economy in history.
Are Republicans not selling it enough?
Yes, the Republicans don't talk about it.
So they need to do a better job on Capitol Hill.
The Democrats give false talk, and the Republicans, and I say it all the time, Republicans have to talk about the fact that prices are down.
Will that help?
It will help communicating with the American people, but it really comes down to what the American people feel. We all know this. We can scream from the top of our lungs that the price of gas and groceries has gone down, but if the American people aren't seeing more in their paycheck or feeling more stability in this, then that's where it's going to be. I think this is a real opportunity for Republicans. The American people are screaming the word affordability. President Trump can lead an affordability revolution in this country going into midterms, remove regulatory barriers, make things to build homes more affordably, make that easier to do, work with these states to be able to make sure what we're saying is this country is open for business. We want to make it more affordable. If Republicans hone in and put a package together like that, that could really change the course of what will be a tough midterm for them.
All right, what do you think?
I like when President Trump talks about the economy. He wants Republicans to talk more about it, and I get that. They're part of the team. Nobody is a better spokesman than the president himself. And he's been doing so much this year that it's hard to keep track of things like the big, beautiful bill. Remember that? That's kind of lost in the background. We're coming into 2026. All of those tax cuts are going to start showing up in your tax returns. It's when it's going to hit your wallet, businesses taking those deductions. So I think at the end of this year into next year, laser in on the economy and talk about what's coming and get people excited to build and grow and earn an income and find a job. Focus is good, especially when you're heading into a midterm, in my view.
Especially, I think they have to compare and contrast to what the Democrats are offering.
Right.
So, for example, Obamacare was supposed to be the end-all, be-all. What are we fighting about right now? The fact that the premiums keep going up.
It's so broken that we got to keep papering over it.
Right. But then there was this, just switching gears just a little bit. Jasmine Crockett, she's a congresswoman from Houston. She's a lightning rod. She gets a lot of attention, and she brings a lot of attention on herself. Here's some attention on her spending spree. So $75,000 on, which is a big number. She spent $25,000 on luxury hotels and limo services and $50,000 on security services. This is kind of an issue for them and members of Congress that they don't actually have the ability to have they have to pay for security in some way. She must feel that she needs it.
Yes, I won't knock the security portion of that. It is a dangerous time for elected officials. They need to make sure they're protected. However, the luxury hotels, all of those other amenities that she's giving herself, she's living high off the hog right now. And for a woman who is openly flirting with trying to run for Texas Senate seat against Senator either John Cornyn or whoever comes out of that primary, you are seeing a woman who's not spending an awful lot of time in Texas. That whole list of places she's been living high on the hog, I didn't see anything mentioning Dallas or Houston
or
Amarillo. Laredo or Amarillo. Right. She's all across the country making sure that she is getting taken care of, that her nails look fabulous, and that she is sounding off however she wants to. That's not good for the state.
And she's got security, too. Here she is talking about it just 12 days ago. Watch here.
We need to work on economic policies that will put people into a position in which they are not the working poor, where they are still needing the $6 a day to eat. So, yes, we need to talk about it, but I don't think that SNAP is the problem. I think that that is the resolution, or at least that is a symptom of the problem.
Well, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, if whether or not that's laced with hypocrisy or not.
I don't know. It's the kind of salady to me. I don't know if I followed the logic there,
if she can afford it, fine. I got no argument with that, okay? But if the government shuts down, Congress should not get paid, period.
Congress should not get paid. And if the FAA is not working, those guys should not be traveling, by the way. If they're on a plane seat in that moment and other people can't get one, it's a bad look. Look, I know Motel 6 isn't the greatest place to stay in the world, but I think for a politician who's out there talking about the working class, live a lifestyle that emulates that just a little bit. I agree, security's great, but staying at the luxury hotels.
Yeah. But I think also, but you guys, like, it's not from her salary. This is from her campaign donations. Right. I think that it's not that she has her salary and it's whatever it is. Yeah. But it's that you're asking people who work very hard to give you money so that you can help make the case for why you should be running for Senate or something, and then you're spending it on this. And if her donors don't care, That's one thing. But it's why we have these reports so that they can make a decision.
I don't know that the donors even know. That's
Well, that's why we have the report.
You got to talk about it, exactly.
Yeah, that's not a great way. I mean, a lot of campaigns get in a lot of trouble for misusing donor dollars. It's a very real thing. And so her burning money on the front end of a race on things like luxury hotels, that can continue to beat up on her the rest of the race. And it shows her campaign and herself are not trustworthy stewards of dollars.
Okay, good stuff. All right, guys. Well done.
All right.
Brian, thank you. Go Vikings. Erin, thank you.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Better place to be, right?
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.